Last but certainly not least, come check out what's coming out this week for the Kharadron Overlords.
Spiky bits.
What's happening, hobby maniacs? Rob Baer with you again today, checking out the last 3 releases for the Kharadron Overlords. Of course, we got the Sky Riggers or Engine Riggers, whichever, or Sky Wardens is the 2 different model units you can make out of here. The Engine Master and the Aether Chemist. All 3 units may be mission critical, or at least one out of these 3 to your particular army when it comes to the Kharadron Overlords. Now, the Engine Master and the Aether Chemist are a standard $25 clan pack that we've come to know and expect from Games Workshop, right? And the Sky Riggers kit, it's 3 models for $40. Now, like I said, it does make the, you get 2 different units you can make in here, Engine Riggers or Riggers or Sky Wardens. Personally, and we're going to do a rules breakdown on them, but personally I prefer the Engine Riggers. I think they're better in close combat. They have less attacks, but the attacks that they do get have much more damage potential or damage output as opposed to the Sky Wardens. Now, the Sky Wardens do have some cool stuff as well, and of course we saw that particular Sky Pike in one of the rumor engine posts from Games Workshop. Now, these guys right here do, I feel like, a better job on the tabletop, at least if you are taking some of their sky vessels. So let's jump right into it. Let's take a look. These 2 will be the easiest, so we're going to do the Engine Master first. Now, this guy does have the harness, like we've come to expect from a couple of the different models here, right? Which you can clearly see. He basically looks like a steampunk version of a squat and exo armor, if you're familiar with that from back in the day. It comes on a 32mm base, just like a lot of the releases do for the character models here, or the hero models, depending on how you want to look at it. As far as the kit going together, it's very easy. 2 parts front and back. It's got separate arms for his Scalc hammer, I think it's called. It's not a thunder hammer. Don't get it twisted. 2-part backpack right here, the steampunk backpack with some wiring and things like that. It looks like the pose is actually locked in place there. The head itself is separate with a looks like accessory kind of targeter kind of type thing here. Yep, that goes right on top. So overall, it looks like a pretty easy kit to put together. There's your paint schemes on it. And taking a look right here at what we got, you can tell it's definitely a very well detailed kit, right down to all of the runes, the glyphs, all that detail on the exhaust right there. That's pretty crazy. Let's see, can we zoom in any more on this? Not sure. Yep, there we go, cool. So you can see all of the doodads and things, the knurling on the Scalc hammer here, all the wiring, all the little bells and whistles, gadgets and doodads. There's the head with the beard on it, very cool, and some of the accessories to the backpack right there. So neat little kit, very easy to assemble, it looks like, and hey, it looks good on the tabletop when put together. Now, the Aether Chemist is another one of those little clan pack kits that we've been seeing them come out with. Now, there's a bunch of them for this release, which all of them are good in their own separate ways. And here's the breakdown of the kit. You can see the front and back goes together pretty easily right there. The head is multiple pieces to provide that 3-dimensional kind of look to it. Same with the backpack. So they're definitely going hard in the paint on this crazy 3-dimensional design and depth to all of the miniatures. And there's the Aether vacuum cleaner and his little Aether sensor thingy-mabobber right there that I guess they use to scoop up all of that, the precious metals. The precious! Gotta get the precious metals. Alright, so let's take a look at the sprue itself. There you go. You can see that backpack is pretty wild. Got all sorts of doodads all over it, and it's a 2-parter. There's the Ghostbuster trap bit right there. The gas vacuum. And the head. There's the front of the vacuum and the sensor thingy, a boot. He's all booted, and the front harness right there. So definitely looking fresh, very cool, highly detailed miniature right there. I'm digging that one as well. Let me put him up, and then we'll kick over to the big boys. Now, this only comes with 3 models in the kit. It's $40, so it's you know, it depends on how you look at it. It's either pricey or just right. I think you can fill these in up to 12. Squads of 12. Let's zoom out a little bit. It turns out these sprues are bigger. There we go. So there's our kit, and of course it comes with the 3-pack of the little flight stand thingamabobbers, 32 mil bases all around. There's your paint guide on the front, and there you can see the 2 different, very distinct units that you can make in here, the Engine Riggers and the Sky Wardens. Now personally, we're gonna do a little bit of rules breakdown, but I'm sure they go together about the same way, depending on which kit you're gonna make. So it looks like you just assembled the torsos, legs are separate, torso front and back. Then you've got the harness that goes on there and the power pack. Then you've got the engine sack and the propulsion vanes. All that looks pretty standard right there, and then it gets into the differences between the 2 kits. So you can make the Sky Wardens by arming it with all of these arms right here, and it looks like you pick which instructions. So if you're gonna do the Vulcanizer pistol and Sky Pike, you would do 3, and then 4 would probably be on the next page here. Yeah, there's 4. So you kind of get an idea. But what I want to see is if some of these arms. Let's see, so you got the Sky Warden different helmets, you got the Custodian, and there's the Aethermatic Volley Gun, which is always a decent choice, but again, I'm not sold on these guys. Skyhook Grapple Launcher Drill Cannon, this is 72, 74, 65. Okay, I'm just keeping an eye on which arms they're using there so we can check it out later. Look at all these tools and accessories and things, that's pretty neat. Sky Mines, those are crazy, okay. Pretty neat. So there's the Sky Wardens, and we'll do a breakdown. We'll probably pull them up in the book here in a sec. And the Engine Riggers also gets the Aethermatic Volley Gun, so I'm sure that uses the same bits and some of the same weapons over there. But then here's the normal weapons, the Mizzen Master and the Engine Rigger. There's the Aethermatic Saw, which I feel like is a good choice, and that's the reason I would probably take these guys if I played them. Aethermatic Volley Gun, Grapple Launcher Drill Cannon, so that's 65. Yep, so it looks like it's using the same arms right there, so it's going to be very hard to get multiples out of this kit. You're just going to kind of have to build it the way you want. And there it is right there with all the extra accessories, Engine Riggers, and that is how it looks. So like I said, we've got the various, now these are actually 3 different sizes when you look at it. If you snip these off and put them next to each other, they don't all sit at the same angle. Okay, so here is the first sprue, and you can see this is, you got your Sky Pikes, you got your torsos. Going to see your different helmets there, your engine sacks, your propulsion vanes. Looks like more doodads and things. The 2-part legs right here, the backpacks, all in order there. There's part of the servo harness, pistols, some wiring and different things, different doodads. Of course, this all looks different than it does in the instruction manual there. Oh, there's our close combat weapons, the Aethermatic Servo Blade of Power, awesome saw. Let's see, the nail guns and the Edrin sacks. So it's all right here. It all looks very well detailed. Very cool stuff here. All of the details in the Edrin itself. All the detail on the boots. Of course, the masks are really dope looking, and then you've got all sorts of extra accessories there. And there's your Sky Mines, which those are the parts. Those are the top parts right there to the Sky Mines. So very cool, very cool. I'm digging it. So let's take a look, and of course they are on 32mm bases. They're not quite the normal size elite troops that we would expect from perhaps, you know, something like the Space Marines, but they are still pretty cool. And like I said, I think you're gonna want to go with some of the Edrin Riggers. So let's take a look at the characters. So here's the Edrin Master. He is, I think, 120, but he would definitely be worth taking. So let's see. The Edrin Master is 140, excuse me, and the Edrin Riggers herself are 120. The Sky Wardens are actually only 100. Then you've got the Aether Chemist is 100 points. That was the one. Okay, so the Edrin Master here is worth taking because here's something really cool. He's a hero, so you could technically make him the general of your army. When you make him general of your army, of course, or if you take a battalion, you can unlock some of the different artifacts, or, you know, war gear, whatever you want to call it. But what's cool about that is there's pieces of war gear that lets you adjust your Ren characteristic, and there's also pieces of war gear that lets you adjust how many shots you have with missile weapons. Or there's 2 different ways to do that that I can think of off the top of my head. So depending on which way you want to go with this guy, that would be pretty fresh. Now he's gonna allow you to immediately heal D3 wounds when repairing on a sky vessel. So he's very important if you're doing a sky vessel heavy build. He's pretty decent, you know, overall stats right there. But you know, if you want to do them ranged, you can definitely go that route and get some extra attacks right here. You can get up to 2, possibly there's a way to get up to 3 missile weapon hits, and this is pretty dirty. 3s to hit, 2s to wound, -1 rend, D3 damage. That's nothing to sneeze at. Or if you wanted to go to the extra rend here, 3 attacks, 3s to wound, 3s to hit, 3s to wound at a -3 rend. That's pretty devastating, to be quite honest. That is a very, very dirty stat line. If you can pull that one off and get him into combat, woo! Speak softly and carry a big hammer indeed. And then the Aether Chemist over here, he's good because he adds an extra attack to all types of missile weapons in a squad. So theoretically, you couldn't really do it with the Edron Master, but you take a squad of, like, say, the Thunderers or something, and you say, hey, everybody in there, this particular type of weapon gets an extra attack. And you can even do it on, like, the Privateer pistol. It's just your stock-based weapon. It might not be worth it, but in some instances, you might want to do it. And you can do that to anybody within 10 till the next hero phase. He also has a snifty ability where he chokes out the attack characteristics of anybody within 3 inches during combat. So he's a great little support guy, and at 3 inches, he might actually be able to stay out of combat, you know, with a particular something, because there would be somebody in front of them. If they don't have the reach, they won't be able to swing back on them, so you can kind of bubble wrap them in that regard. Now, attacks-wise, 10-inch, 3d6, which I think the average is 11, 4s to hit, 4s to wound, -2 rend, 1 damage, this is a good solid stat line if you can get additional ways to hit right here. If you can get that down to a 3, I feel like it's worth the 4 up to wound, just because this does some solid damage there. But other than that, I think you're taking him for his ability right there. So like I said, these two are very important depending on what kind of build of a list you're running for your Arcanauts. Or for your, well, yeah, technically that's not a wrong statement. For your Kharadron Overlords, right? And then let's take a look at where's the Edron Riggers themselves? There's only that many. There's only so many units in here. I gotta find. There we go. So there's the Edron Riggers. These are my favorite. I think these guys are worth taking. Like I said, 120 for 3. They have 2 wounds. Bravery's decent. They can hitch, so they're not going to take up transport capacity on your sky vessels. What's cool about them is they also have a sky hook. So if they do damage or whatever, if you do have a sky hook on there, you can actually move extra inches towards that particular direction. The grapple launcher kind of does the same thing as well, but that's not really what we're worried about. What we like about these guys is that they automatically just heal a wound on a sky vessel, or any sky vessel they're within 1 inch of or embarked upon. What else is really good about these guys is their Aethermatic Saw that we talked about. This is really good. 1 attack, 3s to hit, 2s to wound, -2 rend, D3 damage. The Lord's work in close combat right there. That thing is crazy good. Now, I don't think there's a way that you can overcharge it like Baron Harkonnen or the Edron Master. Nope, there isn't a way to do it to automatically get the 3 on the D3 damage, but still, it's still pretty good to have a squad of these guys, even if it is 1 attack. Now remember, there's ways to get additional attacks sometimes out there, not necessarily in this particular army here, but then take a look at their shooty weapons up here, and remember that there's ways to give additional attacks, or additional attacks to any unit that we just saw, right? So if you take the Edron Master, or excuse me, the Aether Chemist, you could get an extra attack. So if you wanted to get, you know, say, take the whole squad with drill cannons, you could. Let's see. For every 3 models in the army in place of their rivet gun and saw, 1 may be armed with Aethermatic volley gun, 1 might... Okay, excuse me. So these cannot do that. For every 3 models, you can have 1 each of these. So what comes in the kit is actually worth what you can field right there, and then they all come stock with the rapid fire rivet gun and the Aethermatic Saw. I'm not sure you want to replace the saw, to be quite honest. So if you want to give them extra attacks, get up to 4 attacks, 3s to hit, 4s to wound. They're very robust at 12 inches. They're very good at shooting, but they're even better in close combat right here. So you get some buffs on these guys. If you're taking a vehicle heavy build, you might want to consider them because of their automatic healing properties, and they're beat stick enough to be able to go toe to toe and damage even the heaviest of monsters and infantry out there with this stat line right here. You get them some extra attacks. Don't worry about the hit. You need extra attacks to these guys right here. Now, Sky Wardens, that's a little different story. Those are just cousins that you can build in the kit too. They're 100 points right here. They all come with the Vulcanizer pistol. Again, one can have 1 of each right here, just like the other side, the Edron Riggers. they're basically just DPS. Like, they do a lot of attacks, but they're kind of average and everything. That's all good. They can drop the sky mines. Those are all good. I feel like they're just okay. They're kind of just there. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't put a whole lot of stock into these guys when for 20 points more you can get these guys right here. But that's just my personal opinion. Again, there might be some builds out there that I'm not tracking, but that's just how I would field my army. I'd probably go with a lot of sky vessels. I feel like maybe 2 squads of these guys because they're good. Some thunderers. You know, you got to have your Arcanaut companies, of course, because they're basically a blade of wounds for your heroes, which we already talked about 2 of the heroes on here in previous tactics videos and also the unboxing. So that's just kind of where I'm at. If you have any questions about the Arcanauts or the Kharadron Overlords book right here, just drop them in the comments field here, and we'll try to get to them. This is probably going to be our last video on the new Sky Pirates because it's been a long, crazy ride of several weeks of releases for these guys, and I've thoroughly enjoyed this new race for Age of Sigmar, and I can't wait to see what is next, judging by all those crazy rumor engine posts. Well, there's a lot more to come out in the near future. Now, if you liked all of our video features here on this channel, make sure you subscribe and make sure you turn on notifications so you can be one of the first to comment on our videos. And you can support us over on Patreon to get a monthly miniature crate of swag in the mail to you. We also have some options for getting it quarterly. You get a little mini army miniature crate in the mail. It's always fun. It's like Christmas every couple of months from us to help support what we do here. And head on over to the longwar.net. That's the home of the battle reports for exclusive content and early access videos. Become a veteran of the Long War today.